You'll have to forgive me because I grew up in America. I don't do metrics.
And apparently in America, the only system is the imperial system.
Right.
But I'm going to fix John over the years. We're going to have lots of jokes about this already.
That's how it works.
Yeah,
Heated hoodie.
Right. Hopefully you find someone who's generally day-to-day considerate of what you're going through. Like,
Right.
yeah, find yourself a husband or wife like that, or a boyfriend or girlfriend. Like, yeah, that's a good... If you find that person, hang on to them.
Yeah, put a ring on it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're not punching each other in the eye, right? Although on Canadian holidays, there's some punching each other in the eye occasionally. People get a little heated, right?
That's and forgive me because I'm uneducated, right? I thought that you guys had to separate from France, but clearly got that wrong. So that's me just being uneducated.
Put in your password. The fact that you remember them is amazing.
Right. And I have about 7 that I use.
Right. I'm sure in your head, the mix of numbers and letters and symbols and stuff that you use for your passwords, there's some format in your head that you can remember. It's because of this. Right?
Yep.
But I mean, I don't know those. It just sounds like gibberish to me. So what do you do, right?
It is what it is, right?
Welcome everybody to the I Shower After Work podcast. We are your host. John is with me here in the job chair as always. Say hello, John.
You keep throwing me off. When
That's the plan, buddy. I'm trying to mess with you.
Here, give me instruction to say hello.
Yeah, right. Well, you need to know when it's time to say hello. Say hello, John.
Fuck off.
Yeah, that's right. I'm Jason McKinnon. Welcome to the I Shower After Work podcast, everybody. We appreciate that you take the time to listen to us once again today.
And I am John. I just want to actually point that out because he's being a dick.
Well, and as I've mentioned before, John's also a bit of a hater occasionally. But welcome again, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us at least once more. John and I really do appreciate that. How was your week, buddy?
It's tiring.
Tiring. It's that time of year. We got a lot going on. It's the holiday season.
Yep.
There's a lot happening, right?
Yep.
So
Jingling-ling.
Jingling-ling. So everybody, obviously, this is going to be our Christmas episode.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
I
to you,
doing
my
the
brother.
happy holiday shit. It's Merry Christmas.
So listen, we're going to get into the happy holiday shit in a minute. I got some history of that. We're gonna get into that, but for the time being, Merry Christmas. Cheers.
Cheers. Sláinte.
John is drinking without an alcoholic drink and didn't cheers me with an alcoholic drink, which from where I'm from is a little bit of bad luck, but I won't wish bad luck on you, buddy. You're being smart tonight because John has to drive home. Inside baseball for everybody. We live quite a distance apart, John and I, so making the trip out to do the podcast is an effort.
It's not quite a distance. It's not quite a distance because here in America, an hour drive, that's our commute. Now, take that to the EU, an hour drive is an all-day event.
He's not wrong, folks.
I mean,
he's really not wrong.
We're not all that far apart, but it does stretch out. And before we get going on the holiday, we should really explain because I got this question from a listener of ours. Okay, so we are in what we call the job trailer. Right?
Yes,
let's just break this open.
Yeah, the studio is called the job trailer. Listen, it's not a job trailer, folks.
It's our houses.
Yeah.
It's our houses. We are in the basement of our houses. We bounce back and forth. It makes it pretty convenient for both of us.
If you listen real close, you can probably tell which is which. As a frame of reference, this particular Christmas episode is in my house.
Yep. And if you pay attention, you will hear the difference in my house. There's a little bit more activity going on.
That's a fact. But yes, John's right. It's not really a job trailer.
Right.
That's just what we like to call the studio because, I mean, that's the world we're living in, buddy.
It is.
Yeah.
And we're okay with it. We like the idea of the job trailer because we are in the trades.
Right.
And everybody in the trades understands the job trailer.
We can appreciate what goes on and the talk that goes on.
In the job trailer.
Yeah, in the job trailer. So That's great, man. So are you all set for the holidays, buddy?
Yeah. Yeah, we are, actually. I think we have just a couple of gifts to buy, but everything else is done.
Man, you're way ahead of me.
Yeah.
I make a real mistake every year. So as everybody knows, I'm from the East Coast of Canada. My brother Greg and my sister-in-law Young, God love them both. I really hope they're listening. They think ahead every year. They They pack up gifts. They put them in the mail. They get us down here. I am, at the last minute, going to FedEx or the United States Postal Service. I'm paying the extra expedited fee nearly every year to make sure the Christmas gifts get there on time. And occasionally, they don't even get there on time.
Dude, I don't know how many times I've gone to the store like Christmas Eve and like just power bought gifts.
Oh, look.
Like,
I'm proud of that, but I can't even do that because it's going to take a minimum of so many days to get it from the middle of the United States to the east coast of Canada. Like, if I remember the last day, I
Right.
can't even drive them. If I jumped in my vehicle and
Right.
didn't stop, I still can't get them there for Christmas morning, right? Like,
They're showing up New Year's.
and it's only exaggerated by the fact that my brother and sister-in-law are so thoughtful that they think ahead. We are recording slightly before Christmas because we wanted this episode to come out, right?
Yeah,
but it's not
absolutely.
a ton before Christmas. My brother's and sister-in-law's gifts to my wife and I are on my table upstairs already. I haven't even thought about what I'm buying everybody yet. Now, that's not entirely true. I know what I'm buying my niece, and I know what I'm getting my nephew. But my brother and sister-in-law, I haven't even thought about what I'm going to get them yet.
Yeah.
And they already have their gifts on my dining room table in the Midwest.
They bought them like months ago.
It's embarrassing. They're super thoughtful. I want to be better, but the fact remains is I'm not. So what are you going to do? Welcome to the Christmas episode, folks.
Yeah.
Or John doesn't want to say the Happy Holidays episode.
Nah, it's Merry Christmas.
So listen, I want to talk to you about that real quick, okay? I know I said something earlier. I was very much, in years gone by, less lately, I used to be on that same camp, John. I remember the days when we said Merry Christmas every single year. And then all of a sudden, and this was before I even moved to the States, which would be 17 years ago now. All of a sudden, no, it's not just Merry Christmas, it's Happy Holidays.
Yep.
Wait, what? No, it's Merry Christmas. Take your Happy Holidays and cram it.
Yeah.
I was part of that camp for a real long time, buddy, but now
I understand what it's about.
I've come to realize, yes, we're Merry Christmas people, you and I, and so are probably the vast majority of people listening, right? But you and I both have friends that are not only Happy Hanukkahs,
Yep.
but also Kwanzaa.
Yep. Yep.
Those are not Christmas. Those are holidays. I've tried to be open-minded in my later years. I understand the Happy Holidays thing now. I start with Merry Christmas
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
time, right? That's your first one, right? Merry
Yep.
Christmas, because that's our thing.
Right.
I mean, we have people that are holidays, not Christmas, right?
Yeah, I know very few, but yeah, like I get it and I understand it and I'll be stubborn about it. And I don't like the Happy Holidays. I don't like it because damn it, it's Merry fucking Christmas.
I understand, man.
Right?
And a lot of people feel the same way. I'm trying to be open-minded, right? There's only because, again,
Look,
only
we want-
because I know both.
Yeah, we want to include everybody and everybody has their own deal and everybody has their own holidays that they celebrate. And I'm not downplaying that.
But our deal is
But god damn it, it's Merry fucking Christmas.
it's Merry Fun Christmas, right? Have you caught? He just caught on. So, folks,
Jason's taking the tally.
a couple of episodes in a row now that we recorded. We got some feedback on our first few that came out. I don't dog John for any of this. I'm bad for this myself. Growing up in a sailing community on the east coast of Canada, we tend to curse a little more than we'd like.
Yep.
And the last couple episodes, I've been keeping a running tally that just said JFM, the John fuck meter. I've been keeping track of how many times he cursed because we got a little feedback. Like, oh, you guys are great and it's good, but hey, geez, John really likes fucking throwing the curse words around, as I just did myself. I'm not proud, right? That's what that was, buddy. He's been watching me take tallies. You know, the 1, 2, 3, 4 / for the 5. I've been doing it at the bottom of my list here. John just realized what was going on and what I was taking a tally of. But I hope, now that you understand that was the tally I was keeping, how many times you cursed, it's a pretty low tally, right?
Right.
We're an episode and a bit in here.
Right.
That's a pretty low tally.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
pretty
the way
low.
I
That's
thought,
not
yeah.
bad. I'm trying to be a little bit more mindful about it, but also, again, I don't give a damn.
Let's say that John and I have, between last episode we recorded and this one, we're about an hour and 12 in. I mean, it's only 7. That's pretty good, buddy.
That's pretty good. You're gonna see that number go way up if you get me all freaking wound up about something.
Oh, yeah. And listen, anyone listening, we're happy that we're listening, but we're going to curse. And if we get real passionate about something, we're going to curse a bit more. If that offends you, this might not be the podcast for you.
Sorry, but not sorry.
Right. Sorry, but not sorry. We're going to be who we are. And if you enjoy listening to who we are, excellent. Please keep listening and share it with your friends and rate, review, subscribe, and all the stuff that they say on the internet. And I burned through that quick. Rate, review, and subscribe. That's the Canadian.
Or follow.
Or follow, whatever you want to do. But we're going to be who we are. And if you listen to that, great. And if you don't, thanks for giving us the try to start with anyway.
Yeah, we love you anyway.
But that's what he was stalling and laughing at, because I have been keeping a JFM, a John fuck meter, as we went the last few episodes recording
awesome.
here, just to see how often it happened. It might have come up in a little bit of our feedback.
Maybe. It's okay.
Interestingly enough, I really did think that was my issue. I thought I was the one.
No, and I called out. I called it
you
out.
You told me. Yeah,
I'm
I thought as a East Coast kid growing up with sailors and longshoremen and stuff, I thought I was the one cursing way too much, and I was trying to be conscious of it. And when your spouse said, "Oh, I wish John would lay back a little bit," I'm like, "John, you mean me?" She's like, "No, I mean John." When I started listening to episodes when we were editing, I'm like, "Oh, really? He really is John." Like, who knew? Yeah.
And it's funny because if you catch me at work and I go into the job trailer to talk to the GCs and stuff, that I don't cuss.
This isn't work. This is us talking to the people.
I know.
If the people don't like us cursing, like we just said, don't listen.
It's PR skills.
Right.
You develop those.
Right. This is us being us. You can talk to your coworkers and generals and owners and customers and apprentices, however you'd like. But this is the way we talk.
Yeah. I talk to most of everybody except for people that I need to actually care about for a hot minute because I like staying gainfully employed.
Yes, I definitely do too.
You know, and
shout out to my company and yours, I'm sure.
And mine too. And so I keep it kind of under wraps a little bit more.
But listen, that's probably everybody at their work site, right? Like, not everybody. There's people who never curse, who are really uppity about it and very self-righteous and never say a bad word. Yep. But I mean, most of us, the way we talk in our day-to-day lives and the way we talk on the job and to customers, it's going to be different, right?
Totally different.
Sure, it's going to be different. Like, that's for sure, man.
But anyway, yeah, so that's a funny sidebar. The JFM, that is funny.
Well, again, we had some feedback about it. I was just generally curious how many times it come up, but you're obviously conscious of it now, so we're trying to get better.
Yeah, don't stop taking the tally.
No, I'm going to keep a tally going.
That pen might start burning soon.
That might be an ongoing. You know how much ink you get out of a big pen, folks. I might keep a running total of how many big pens of John saying curse words I can get out. Again, I'm not judging. I curse too, but that'll be something for fun anyway.
Right.
So my friend, obviously we gave a quick intro, but this is the Christmas episode, and we really hope everybody has a Merry Christmas or whatever happy holiday they happen to be celebrating.
Absolutely. 100%.
I suspect that most of our people are going to be on the Merry Christmas end, but imagine there are people out there who think of the different holidays. Yep. What are your plans for Christmas this year, man? What do you got going, buddy?
We're keeping it pretty low key this year. We're just going to be at home. We're not going to do any traveling.
Oh, you're not going anywhere at all?
Nope. We're just going to spend it with the kids and us. A funny backstory. My wife is, I call her Korean, but she was born in Korea. She was adopted over here, so she is very much Midwestern.
Sure. If you remember a few episodes ago, John called out one of his impressions about being my little Mexican. Just FYI, we're going to keep...
That's my apprentice.
We're going to keep John on his toes with his stuff here. Go ahead.
But she found out that Christmas in Korea is more along they don't have Christmas in Korea. It's more along the lines of celebrated like Valentine's Day, or it's just a couple's day.
My sister-in-law is from Daegu in South Korea, so I understand that. Yeah, go ahead.
So we told the kids yesterday.
One of my sister-in-laws. Sorry, go ahead, John.
when we saw them, that we're just going to roll with the Korean Christmas, and it's just going to be us two, and they can just go piss off. We said that to all three kids together.
Listen, I've mentioned before, my wife and I have no kids. I suspect over the years of you being a parent and raising a child that you eventually, on occasion get a case of what I would like to call the fuckets.
Yes, very much so.
Right, that's where we're at here, right?
No, that was a joke, but funny enough is one of the kids laughed because she knew it was a joke right away. The other two were completely 100% gullible and actually believed it for a hot second.
Two out of three ain't bad, Ben.
I'm like, dude, really? Like, you guys actually believe that shit?
As long as one of them is paying attention, I mean, that's worth, right? It could be zero.
Right, could be zero.
All three of your kids could be paying no attention at all.
Yeah, most of the time that's how it works.
It's going to be hard over time here for me to not to bag on John and his kids because I've met all of his kids. All three of them are fantastic people. But teasing kids in general, when my wife and I have none, is hard for me not to tease.
Oh, yeah.
So if any of the kids are listening, it's not personal. I'm just trying to be funny.
Right, right.
So something pretty casual this year. Well, that's good though, man. That's nice some years.
Yeah, yeah. We just, we having an oldest kiddo in college, it kind of, for me, I like to think that we make certain exceptions to make sure that she's home and that we can have Christmas together.
Oh, some scheduling things. Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I can understand that. Yeah.
And traveling back home, which is 600 miles away, doesn't really compute very well with that. So we try to be accommodating to that.
How many kilometers is 600 miles, buddy?
I don't know.
Sorry, I stepped away from the mic. How many kilometers is 600 miles? For our Canadian listeners, do you not know that if you really care about our international listeners, like, wouldn't you be able to do the math
you
by
son
now?
of a bitch.
Yeah, fuck you and everybody looks like you, right?
Oh.
If you really care about our international listeners, wouldn't you be able to use the metric system like every other country in the world? I'm just asking, buddy.
Oh, God. Hey, Google, how far is 600 miles in kilometers?
600 miles is 965.606 kilometers.
Look, almost a
There you
thousand.
go.
Almost 1,000 kilometers. John doesn't want to go to spend Christmas with his family. Okay, we're back up to date now.
Oh,
I wanted to throw in a metric system joke today.
I cannot believe you threw
I've
me
been
under the
waiting for that.
bus.
I've been waiting for that all day, buddy. I planned for that all day, buddy.
You threw it under the bus to the international listeners. I love all of you.
We have listeners that are
Fuck all the way off, Jason.
right. Yeah, fuck all the way off. Right. We have listeners that aren't American, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have lots of. Hopefully, we have lots of metric system listeners, but we definitely have metric system listeners.
We do. And you'll have to forgive me because I grew up in America. I don't do metrics.
And apparently in America, the only system is the imperial system.
Right.
But I'm going to fix John over the years. We're going to have lots of jokes about this all the time.
I don't see you using a metric tape measure.
I don't want to make you Americans upset because when you guys get upset, you tend to overreact a little occasionally. I'm just talking historically on the grand universal scale. Sometimes when things don't go your way, you get a little heated, right? I don't want to make a big deal.
Hey, it's okay because you know what? Our measuring system tends to be a little bit more complicated. We have to be complicated because the rest of y'all are a little bit simple. Simple-minded.
Sure, man. If that's your opinion, I'm willing to accept that. And I'm going to go out on a limb right now. I'm going to put a stop to this conversation real quick because we're going to have a whole episode, and I'm writing it down right now. We're going to have an episode very soon of metric versus imperial. You can look up your facts, and I'm going to look up mine, but I'm going to tell you, buddy, my belief is the metric system is easier to learn and easier to use, but we'll come back to this. Okay? The metric system versus the imperial system is going to be a separate episode.
Oh, it definitely will be. I've got another one in the tank that I'm going to surprise you with.
Save it. We're gonna come back to this. We'll come back to this. This is an episode on its own, right? This will be an hour and a half, folks.
We don't need to be fighting over the Christmas
Yeah,
episode.
it's Christmas holiday. Yeah, that's right. We don't want to fight about that right now. I do feel a little bad though, buddy. Moving on. I wanted to get you a Christmas gift that was really representative of what we were doing here now, but we kind of had everything we need for the podcast, and I didn't really know what I should get you for the holidays. This sort of snuck up on us this year. We've been so busy with figuring all this out, and then our real lives of working every day. This is a side project, right, folks?
Right.
What should I have got you for Christmas for next year?
Ah, nice.
Since I didn't know what to do this year, what should I have done?
I don't know. Well, let's back it up a year, right? So it wouldn't have been for Christmas. We've never actually given each other Christmas gifts. Birthday gifts, different because our birthdays are right next to each other.
That's the only reason we do that, right?
Right.
Yes, yeah.
And I still think that was funnier than shit that we almost exchanged exact mugs.
Hey, listen, folks. Not this last September, but the September before that, John and I happened to get together. We were going to a motorcycle rally that weekend, and I had a gift for him because, as he just said, our birthdays are really, really close together. When he handed me the container that my gift was in, I looked at the container that his gift was in that I had bought him, and there was a real close chance that those were the same thing. Now, it turned out they were mildly different, which was okay.
Right.
But you got to be careful. When you hang out with people long enough, you start to think the same sometimes, and
A little bit.
occasionally you're going to buy each other the same gift. You got to be real close or real careful with people you're close to.
Right.
It can happen, buddy.
Well, and to bring it back to point on the Christmas gifts, because I thought the same thing when I was thinking about trying to pick you up something, I couldn't figure it out, but I understand why. Because 1, we've been busy. 2, we haven't thought about it. But 3, kind of dudes, we buy our own shit.
Why are we... This should be universal, buddy.
Right.
You go ahead. You bring it up. Go ahead. You're right.
Well, we just buy our own shit throughout the year. It's just as simple as that. It's all like and that's why when our spouses ask, "What do you want for Christmas?" Be like, I kind of already bought it this year.
Right. I got it. I got what I need. Now, I'm going to give my spouse credit. She's pretty great, actually. The things that I would never buy for myself that turn out to be really convenient for me.
Yeah.
All right. Smartwatch, for example. I would never have spent the money to buy myself a smartwatch,
Yep.
but she saw the benefit for me to not pull my phone out of my pocket every 30 seconds.
Yep.
Sometimes our significant others see outside the forest.
Right.
And they can pick a gift that we normally wouldn't get for ourselves, right? That's always a good thing, right?
Dude, and yeah, but it's not like when my wife does it, she does it all year.
Right. It's not just one time. Yeah.
She bought me heated socks because I was working in the cold.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It's like,
it-
that's how it works.
Yeah,
A heated hoodie.
Right. Hopefully you find someone who's generally day to day considerate of what you're going through. Like,
Right.
yeah, find yourself a husband or wife like that, or a boyfriend or girlfriend. Like, yeah, that's a good, if you find that person, hang on to them.
Yeah, put a ring on it.
Yeah, right. Who was it? The hot one that said that. Put a ring on it. Oh, the singer.
I don't remember the
Beyonce.
same.
Beyonce.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Better
Beyonce.
put a ring on it. Hey, listen, Beyonce. If you find one that's good, put a ring on it. Like,
Put a ring on it.
I know it's a little outside of date, but hey, we're an older generation, so it's okay. So you guys are staying pretty close to home this Christmas, huh?
What are you guys doing?
Well, I'm happy to say for the first time in a lot of years, and we were just discussing this the other day, nobody really remembers how many years in a row my wife and I and her family, my in-laws, who are, I've said before, I'll continue to say, I got real lucky. My in-laws are fantastic. Like, people complain about their in-laws. Mine are pretty chill. Like, it's really great, right? We're all going to be together. All the daughters, all the sons-in-laws, my mother-in-law. We're all going to be together in Arizona for the first time in what we think is 7 or 8 or 9 years. Nobody can really remember.
Awesome.
We're pretty excited about it. Everybody's going to Arizona to be with her. It should be a lot of fun. We're pretty excited about all that. The only drawback is we're going to have to do a over the phone, not quite great sound quality episode with me live from the Grand Canyon, because my mother-in-law lives in Arizona, and the day after Christmas, the rest of us are renting cars and SUVs. We're going to go to the Grand Canyon. We're going to go to Sedona in Arizona. We're having a warm weather Christmas extravaganza.
Fantastic.
But you and I, we're going to have, I'll call you live. So everybody who's listening, anybody who keeps listening, you're going to hear the live from the Grand Canyon call.
That's going to be great.
It might be lame, but it might be great too. We'll see what happens, right?
That's going to be awesome.
But that's the plan for our Christmas, man. And after all these years of not being together, it'd be nice to all of us be together. Yeah. It's tough when you, when I have a family from somewhere else. You're trying to work those things in, and I'm sure a lot of people listening think the same thing. Your family, I mean, mine's a little far. I mean, door to door, if you were to drive on major highways, the shortest route that Google Maps or whatever takes you, right?
Yep.
2,525 miles from the door that I live in the Midwest, outside the Twin Cities, back to Nova Scotia.
Yep. That's a chunk.
That's 31 hours if you don't stop at all.
Yep.
Okay? I mean, lots of people are complaining, oh, I got to drive 4 hours to my parents or my in. It's not 31 hours, I can tell you that.
Yeah. Mine's 8.
Right.
So,
Eight is still significant, right? Anybody who's got to drive more than 3 hours for their holiday event, that's 3 hours there and 3 hours back. That's a quarter of your day, right?
Yep.
That's a long day, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever it turns out to be, right? But we've had those times, so I'm excited that we get to spend some time with the family. And all jokes aside, I've never seen the Grand Canyon. I know it's a real foreigner coming to the United States thing. I know it's just a gigantic hole in the ground. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing the Grand Canyon, man.
I've always wanted to see it. I've never made the trip.
Well, I'm going to take you some videos. I'm going to call you. We're going to do a live from the Grand Canyon, probably 10, 15-minute episode for everybody later on.
That's going to be great.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to seeing that. It'll be interesting, man.
So I wanted to ask you a question when it comes to Christmases and stuff, because you are a foreigner. You are from Canada.
I am a foreigner, yeah.
What are the
God love
differences?
foreigners.
God love foreigners. What is the difference is there any differences between American Christmas and Canadian Christmas?
Do I have to just talk about Christmas? I could talk about general holidays.
General holidays, sure.
Let me talk
Like,
about
what's the difference?
Let me talk about just what I would consider the major holidays. Okay, so we'll start with Christmas. Obviously, our Christmas is the same day. It's December 25th, right? I mean, Christmas is the same, pretty much universal for anybody who celebrates Christmas, right? You have, sometimes family and maybe one present on Christmas Eve. That was the tradition of my family. One present Christmas Eve. Is that what you?
Yep.
Yeah. And then, you get up early next morning and Santa Claus has come, blah, blah, blah. We all know what it's like.
Right.
So the big differences would be we have a day after Christmas that's called Boxing Day.
Okay.
Also considered a holiday. I think I've looked this up before, and if it turns out that I'm wrong, nobody light me up, but I'm pretty confident that this is the history of the whole thing. Boxing Day is the 26th, the day after Christmas. If you got a new sweater for Christmas, you would box up an old sweater, and you would take that out to someone less privileged than you.
Really?
You got a new one, so get rid of one of your old ones. Pack that up. I'm pretty sure that was the antithesis, the origin of right? You would take that out to a person, right?
I always thought it was like actual boxing.
No,
Just sit around and fucking watch boxing.
not pugilist. Yeah, we're not punching each other in the eye, right? Although on Canadian holidays, there's some punching each other in the eye occasionally. People get a little heated, right? But I'm pretty sure that the original point of that was, if you got something new, whatever it was, right? You would take an old version of that and you'd try to take it out to someone less.
That's great. That's fantastic.
If I'm wrong, people, I'm really sorry. But as I grew up and learned that in Canadian school before I moved to the States, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But if I'm wrong, don't light me up because I misunderstood it. But I'm pretty sure that's what it was. If you got a new version of something, you took an old version you took it to someone less fortunate than you. I think box it up
cool.
and take it down. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And then we have obviously the difference between the Canadian and American 4th of July in the States, Independence Day.
Okay.
And what Canada would call Canada Day. Yours is the, pardon me, yours is the 4th of July. Ours is the 1st of July.
Okay.
It's basically the same thing.
Independence Day.
You all get together on Independence Day when you became your own country. You have a barbecue. You play a game, whether it's you play softball or you play a little soccer or whatever you do.
And you shoot shit off into the air. Blow shit up.
Definitely fireworks in Canada, at least where I'm from, right on the East Coast. Certainly fireworks that night. Although I will say where I'm from, it was more of the city or county or town would put off that not so many individuals going to Wisconsin and buying illegal fireworks and bringing them across the border and shooting off fireworks.
I've never done that.
Right. You've definitely never done that.
No.
That's a lie. But that was one of the subtle differences there that you would normally go down to. So in my case, again, I'm from the waterfront, the east coast of Canada. You'd go down to the waterfront and watch them put off the city big firework display.
Sure.
So there's that. So there's that. There's Christmas. That's the difference between Canada Day and the 4th of July.
Okay.
Obviously, there's, like I said, Boxing Day. And then our Thanksgivings are mildly different. Yours is, well, when does yours fall? Is it the
Fourth Thursday of November.
the last Thursday of November, right? I think I'm right, but don't call me out here. I've made a mistake. I think the Canadian one is the second to last Monday in October. I might be wrong. For all the Canadians out there, I'm sorry I don't remember, but I think the Canadian Thanksgiving is the second to last Monday in October. But other than that, it's the same thing. We have turkey, we have stuffing, we get together with family, except for the fact that y'all have a bunch of NFL football games that day, and
Right.
we don't have a bunch of CFL games. I mean, maybe we do, and I don't remember. But the generic family interaction of turkey and stuffing and food, that's all the same,
Sure.
right? That's basically it. Other than that, we've got some holidays that the States doesn't support or
Recognize.
Or thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother.
Better word.
Recognize, not support, but recognize. So, for example, we recognize the Queen's birthday, not because the Queen has any effect on our government anymore, even though there's an individual they call the Governor General in
Yeah.
Canada that is, to my understanding, again, I might be wrong, I'm kind of a bit of a moron, folks, is sort of the Queen's vocal representative in the Canadian government.
Liaison.
Liaison. Hey, that was an American that said liaison really good there. You got to appreciate that, right? That wasn't me. That was a Midwesterner. Got that real good. Who, if the Queen wanted to have an opinion, sort of vocalize it, or right?
Sure.
I mean, other than that, things are pretty similar.
They sound
know?
like, yeah.
We have a couple of different holidays. Like, so for example, except for, I think it's February. I think it's February. In my understanding, before I left Canada, we have a long weekend every single month, except for February, I think. Where in the States, I think you have 7 months that have an extra long weekend. I should have brought this up with you beforehand so you actually could have had some ammunition here.
Well, wait a minute. What are you talking about in a long weekend?
I'm saying every single month, with the exception of, I believe, when I left Canada, which admittedly is 17 years ago, almost 20 years ago, right? But 17 years ago. And a long weekend would be you either have Friday off as well as Saturday and Sunday, or you have Sunday or Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Oh,
a
you're
long
talking-
weekend is an extra day, 3-day weekend, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Canada has a long weekend every single month of the year
Except for
except
February.
February.
Yeah, we only have 7.
I think you only have 7 here, right? Where you're guaranteed that month you have at least one vacation day long weekend for tradespeople and regular folks like us who,
Right.
right? That's what this podcast is about. Yeah, I think it's only one that we miss, and you only have 7, I think is where I figured it out.
I think you're right. No, I'm not looking that up, but
Right.
I think you're pretty accurate.
I'm not sitting in front of the internet, folks. If you want to correct us, please do. Send that I saw a podcast at gmail.com. Reach out and let us know.
Or hit us up at the DMs.
Or,
at
yeah, right.
Instagram.
Right, yeah. At I saw a podcast on Instagram. Yeah.
That'll be nice and fast.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 7 to 11.
Gotcha.
I think we have 1 month that's not that way.
So you're saying Canadians are lazier than Americans?
I'm saying the Canadian government cares more about the relaxation and recuperation of their citizens than maybe they do in the United States of America.
Yeah, well, you know, when you come from a build a country and work 55 hours a week, and you know, we're the only country that actually does that retarded bullshit. Yeah,
Hey,
that's understandable.
the only country that you're aware of.
That I'm aware of. Yes.
There could be plenty of countries out there who are working lots of long hours. Like, hey, I'm pretty sure the people that built the Mayan pyramids in Mexico are working more than 40 hours a week still to this day.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
It's not documented. It's not proven.
See, that's a very American opinion out of John there, right? But that's what you're going to get on our podcast, right? You're going to get some varied social ideas.
I
about
mostly
stuff.
say stuff like that just to fire people up.
And that's what we want here too. Yeah, John. Yeah, John's all about that. I'm the same way, right? We're going to say stuff to try to charge up
stir
and
the
out.
pot.
And yeah, it doesn't
Stir the
mean
pot.
we mean it. But if it drives you a little crazy and you talk to us, great. Like, yeah, we want that.
Right. Oh no, that's interesting. That the holidays, I didn't realize that there was pretty much all of the major holidays are pretty much the same.
They're really
didn't
similar,
realize
man.
that.
We might call them different things, right? I think, and again, I've been gone from Canada a long time. So any Canadian listeners that are listening, please don't hate me on it. It's almost 20 years since I left. I'm trying to remember. If I get things a little wrong, give me a little slack. All
Little
right?
grace.
Yeah, a little grace, right? So I think what you would call Veterans Day here
Yep.
on the 11th of November.
Yeah.
A big pause by John, who's supposed to be an American. So the day honoring veterans of war. Okay,
Yep.
I think we generalized it because they have Veterans Day in the States and Memorial Day. So veterans were people who served, and memorial were people who had passed.
Yep.
I believe in Canada we just all conglomerated that into Memorial Day.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that there was differentiation. I might be wrong. And again, if I'm messing this up, please forgive me, everybody. I've got a couple of nephews and cousins who are heavy duty into the military. Dermot, if you're listening, that's how an adult would say it.
Usually.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be bagging on. I'm trying to remember because it's been a long time. But those things were subtly different. And then we also have some holidays that have nothing to do with the States, because when you separated from the British entirely,
Yep.
right?
When we told them to fuck off.
When you told them to fuck off, right? I don't know if I'm 100% historically accurate on this, but I'm okay talking shit. All right? The United States fought their war and said, fuck you, we're going to separate. I believe because the Canadian independence was a number of years later. I'm not going to speculate. No, speculate's a terrible word. I'm not going to say what the number of years later was, but it was certainly after the United States fought for their independence, right?
Yep.
I've always been under the understanding that we got to see the Americans fight for their independence, and the Canadians went, hey, listen, y'all just had a real scrap south of the border there, and we won our independence. Could we maybe not fight about it? Maybe you guys just be cool and let us go off and do our own thing?
Right.
I think maybe Canada got lucky in that way, that they could just go, let's not have a war about it, but we want to be our own country. We'll give you your opinion.
Right.
We'll be cool about it. I think that's kind of the way that went, right?
And that's okay. So that's what's so surprising to me, is that because you do give the British, I can only use the word empire because that's the only term I really know there. Their say,
very American. Keep me
right?
down.
Like, and right.
I appreciate what you're saying, though. Yeah.
You give them their say,
Yep.
right? You still give them their say.
Okay.
But
So
I
if
thought-
if I may, real quick, don't lose your mental track. What you're saying there.
Yep.
We still give them their say. So what Canada has is someone who's called the lieutenant governor.
Yep.
And again, Hey, I'm half a moron, folks. I might be wrong, but my understanding is the lieutenant governor is the sort of Queen's voice
Yep.
in the Canadian government, right?
Right.
We might not listen,
Right.
but we'll our
They have a-
nice way was we'll give you can say what you want to say. We'll listen to you.
Yeah.
But okay, so go ahead.
Right. So, but I thought, so the part that surprises me is that I thought because there's such a huge French like impression on Canada that's and forgive me because I'm uneducated, right? I thought that you guys had to separate from France, but clearly got that wrong. So that's me just being uneducated on that fact.
All right, man. All right, buddy. I'm going to pull the microphone in close here. You'll hear all the noises, folks. I'm adjusting the microphone. I'm going to bring in a group of people who may or may not listen to our podcast, but I'm also going to alienate a whole group of people. And I'm willing to do it. And the people who I alienate, you can go fuck yourselves. We have lots of French-speaking people in Canada.
Right.
And they're mostly spread across the country, but most of them are in the province, which is what we call the state. We call them provinces, of Quebec.
Okay.
That's where most of the French people are. Okay.
Okay.
They have tried to separate from Canada and split our country in 2 years ago because they wanted their own society and French culture and all that.
Gotcha.
That upset a fair amount of English-speaking Canadians.
Gotcha.
Listen,
So that's why people put those two together because they happen to be the loudest.
and that's what it was, okay? You've got people who we want to have our own voice because they were French or whatever, right? Yeah,
Gotcha.
but your voice split our country in two, and you wanted to say you were Canadian, but you're more than happy to make everybody angry and split us in two. Nobody really wanted that, and not to mention real live French people, air quotes for people who are listening and can't see us, which is everybody now, right? French people from France, they don't consider French Canadian people French. They're Canadians. When that meant we should have all been together. But some French people, not all, tried to separate and become their own individual thing years ago or whatever, right?
Gotcha.
I mean,
And I apologize. I didn't mean to sidebar like that.
no. It's okay. These are the sort of things, folks, we're going to get onto. We're going to go off on tangents on stuff, right? I don't disagree that French people should have their own culture and all that. I'm fine with that, right?
Right.
And this really doesn't affect Americans because they're all rolling their eyes back in their head right now, tuning out. Oh, fucking French and Canadian. Blah, blah, blah. Right. Sorry, everybody. It's going to get funny here again in a sec, I promise, right? They want to have their own culture, but they're in a culture of Canadians and they want to be French, and the French don't represent them because they're like, oh, those aren't France people, those are Canadian
Canadians.
French, and blah, 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 right? Blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
a lot of drama bullshit.
We all have our own shit, right? Like, think about it like this. I have a really fair comparison, and for the French Canadian people that listen, I'm trying to be funny. I'm trying to make people laugh. Don't hate on us, right? Try to picture this in a relaxed, fun way. It's the same way that the French/Creole people in the United States down in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
That's French people, right? Creole is a variation of the French. That's a French group that moved to the southern part of the United States, right?
Yeah.
It's the same way that, I mean, yeah, they speak the same language, but it's not really the same.
No.
right?
There's nothing, no comparison.
There's a mild comparison, right?
Yeah.
That's part of the deal there,
Put
too, right?
a French person in Paris up against a person in Louisiana, and
Not even that. Add the extra one in, okay? You're right? But you're adding 2 into a situation that should be 3 people.
Right.
Okay?
True.
You take a Parisian, French in France person, right? They're all uppity. They call themselves Parisians, right?
Okay.
And anybody listening in French, go fuck yourself. We don't care about you. You're not working the trades anyway. So you get a French person in France. You get a French-speaking person in Canada. And those people definitely think they're different, right? And then you get the Southern. Sorry, folks. I've been drinking. We warned you episodes ago there'll be drinking and non-drinking episodes.
Yeah.
I'm a little tuned up tonight. You get the Southern American people, the Creole, who are partially French, partially Southern American. There's kind of a gray area
Just
there, right?
enough of crazy.
So, right, just enough crazy. Put all the 3 of those people together. Well, none of them agree with the other group, right?
Right.
But they're all technically speaking the same air quotes language.
Air quotes. Big air quotes.
Big,
Right.
gigantic air quotes, right? If you can, for those of you who can see me, I made a big production of the air
He's flopping around like goddamn
quotes,
fish.
like a fish, right? There's a lot of that goes on. It's the same language,
Right.
and what they kind of believe deep down is the same culture, but they all believe very different things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And when put on the spot, the Creole's going to win
Listen,
because they're just enough crazy.
I have spent a bunch of time down there, right? I've had some real fun times in New Orleans and yes, they have a bit of that French in them. They're the fun group of people, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
French Canadians. Prove me wrong, French Canadian people. Email us. DM us. Send us all that you want to convince me that I'm wrong about that. But in my experience, the Creoles kind of have a good idea. The Canadian French people, a little uppity, and the actual French people from overseas in Europe and France and Paris and all that, they kind of look down on you a little bit and don't really respect you as quote unquote French people.
Yeah.
So-
Anyway. Yeah.
Maybe
okay.
I'm wrong. Wow, we've taken a really
dude,
interesting turn for our Christmas holiday special here.
I really put a friggin' off ramp on that highway. Like, holy crap.
All right, so for everybody that's still listening, we're pretty deep in. For everybody still listening, well, that's what Americans do, right? They just want to cause sedition and drive people crazy, and
Right.
yeah.
Right.
But hopefully, buddy, here's what we'll do. I would like to personally just start by saying Merry Christmas to everyone and Happy Holidays to everyone who doesn't celebrate Christmas the way that John and I do.
Right.
If you're in a different culture or religion or even family group that celebrates this time of holidays in a different way, good for you. I really hope you have a great time.
Yeah. I just hope that you're blessed and safe and
With your family,
with your family and with your friends and
enjoying yourself, right? I'm okay with that. But at the same time, we're going to come back to this multiple things. We're going to come back to imperial versus metric.
Mhm.
And more importantly, we might come back to the fact that there are some holidays in Canada that aren't celebrated in the States that maybe Canadians could celebrate a few more American holidays that might be really valuable, and vice versa, my friend.
Yep.
Could you agree with that?
I could agree with that.
I could agree with that. I'm going to go down with that. So, that being said, man, this all came up on us kind of fast because we want to make sure we had a holiday episode for Christmas ready to go. I'm really sorry, everybody. John and I forgot about Thanksgiving because Canadian and American Thanksgiving, as we admitted, were different dates.
Yep.
It dawned on us in between, and we wanted to make up for it. What would you like for Christmas, buddy? What could I get you for Christmas, my friend? What would make you happy? Is there anything you need?
I've got what I need, brother.
I kind of feel the same way, my man.
I've got what I need. I am happier than a pig in a trough.
Listen, I can't argue anymore. I'm happy with the way things have gone for us the last 4 or 5 months getting this thing together.
Yep.
And for everybody who, again, is still listening at the end of a reasonably long podcast about our holiday event here, right?
About holidays. Wow, we didn't even touch on anything that we had wrote down, but
Well,
I really sidebarred it.
we're going to do that real quick here at the end. But I also don't want us to get spun up like we have done in the past, where it went on longer than it should. John and I did talk before we started today, and we also wanted to shout out real quick to the people who not only are working in the trades, but the people who had to work on holidays.
Right.
So for all the people out there who have to work on Thanksgiving, the people who have to work on Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Boxing Day in Canada, which we'll talk about later on, day after Christmas, the 26th. We're really behind all of you. John and I are really here for you. We understand that you're going to have to work some of those days, and we really feel for it. Again, you're keeping the world working, as we always say, and you don't have the choice sometimes. John and I don't have the choice sometimes. People working in the trades don't have the choice sometimes. So for everybody out there who has to be away from their family and their friends and everyone during any one of the holidays, we're talking about Christmas now because this is our Christmas episode, or our Happy Holidays episode, which we can argue about later. John and I, he's got a
holiday
disgusted look on his face as an American. But
just as a Midwest American.
as a Midwest American, probably in Texas too. We wanted to say thank you to everybody. We really hope that you're having happy holidays and happy Christmases and Merry Christmases. And when you get home to your families after working the days and nights that you have to work, we just want to remind you, as we do every single week, your work keeps the world working.
It's incredibly important.
Not only incredibly important, but crucially important. And some of us have to do it. And for all of you who are out there away from your family in the hard times, the happy times when you should be home with them, John and I love you, and we're definitely here for you. And we want to remind you once again, and as always,
Yeah, your work keeps the world working.
that's absolutely right. Merry Christmas to you, my brother.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays, sir.
And happy holidays to you. Please rate, review, and subscribe. And if you have any information that you want to send us, if you want to send us anything at all, please do. We will definitely reach out. And remember, we talked early in the episode, we are moving forward with having some, wow, John just rubbed his beard and I could physically hear the hairs of him doing this. We might have to edit this out. I would like to thank everybody for listening, and please, going forward, reach out, let us know what you think, give us lots of feedback. We want to know what you think, and John and I will definitely follow up on all this stuff later on down the road. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, good sir.
Merry Christmas and
Sláinte.
Sláinte. Thank you, everybody. Have a happy holidays and Merry Christmas. We love you.